Hi everyone, welcome to Democracy in Action, the podcast where we talk about the values that help our community grow with respect and participation.
Today, we're diving into a really important topic democracy. We hear about it in governments and elections, but what does it really mean in our everyday lives?
Exactly. Democracy isn't something that only happens when adults vote. It also happens at the school, when we make decisions in class, when we choose leaders, or when we work as a team.
Right. Democracy is a way of living together that promotes participation, equality, and respect. It's about giving everyone a voice and making sure that voice is heard.
So, in this episode, we will explore how democracy works, how we can practice it in our school, and why it is so important for our future.
For me, democracy means that everyone can share their opinion and be heard, no matter who they are or what they think.
I agree. It's also about having clear rules that everyone respects. Like when we agree on a classroom norms at the beginning of the year and we all commit to follow them.
That's true. I think democracy is like teamwork. You can win alone. It's about finding what's best for the whole group, not just for yourself.
Yes, and that's why democracy is so important in education. It helps us learn to listen, to express ideas clearly, and to reach agreements through dialogue.
A perfect example is when we vote for our class representatives or class presidents. So, if everyone participates and respects the results, even if their favorite doesn't win, that is democracy in action.
And sometimes that's not easy. It's hard to accept a decision you don't agree with, but that's part of learning to live in a community.
Exactly. Democracy isn't just about winning, it's about accepting the outcome because it represents the will of majority while it's still respecting minorities.
But what happens when democracy doesn't work well? For example, when only a few people make all decisions.
That's when we lose participation. It can feel unfair or unbalanced, like some voices matter more than others.
That's why democratic values are so important. Things such as tolerance, respect, or even fairness help us make sure that everyone has a chance to speak.
For example, if in a group project one person always wants to control everything, that's not democratic. We can fix it by listening to all opinions and voting on the best idea.
Or even better, combining ideas. Democracy isn't only about choosing one option. It can also be about building a new idea together.
I like that. It's not my way or your way, it's our way.
So, How can we apply democracy in school life?
Well, one way is through student councils. When students elect their representatives or presidents, they are practicing civic participation just like in real governments.
Yes, and we can also use democracy in everyday things, like choosing a class project, deciding how to decorate the classroom, or setting up group.
Even in small decisions, like when we vote on what song to use for a school event, democracy teaches respect and collaboration.
Another example is conflict resolution. If two classmates disagree, they can talk, listen, and reach an agreement instead of thinking that democracy behavior.
Totally. Democracy also means responsibility. We have to respect others' rights but also fulfill our own duties, like listening, cooperating, and being honest.
And let's not forget inclusion, because a true democracy includes everyone, regardless of their gender, their culture, or even their background, because everyone's opinion matters here.
You know, democracy is also about empathy. Understanding that my opinion isn't the only one, that others' ideas have value too.
Yes, democracy is like a mirror. It reflects how we treat each other. If we are respectful and open in our community becomes together.
Practicing democracy in school prepares us for real life, for jobs, families, and society.
Because if we learn to listen and respect differences now, we'll be better citizens in the future.
Democracy isn't perfect, but it is the best way we have to make sure that everyone has a voice.
Today, we discovered that democracy isn't just a government system. It's a lifestyle based on respect, participation, and equality.
We also learned that democracy begins with the small actions, listening, voting, sharing responsibilities, and helping each other.
And that in our school we can practice it every day in class discussions, teamwork, and decision making.
The more we practice democracy, the more inclusive and fair our communities will become.
Thank you so much for listening to our new episode of Democracy in Action. And remember, democracy starts with you and the way you treat others in your day to day.